Sir, yung pagsuko lang po ni Cesar Mancao, you think
Well, that's his prerogative. Kung gusto niya mag-surrender, ako, gusto nga sagutin sa iyo, huhi. Diba? Dahil parang, you know, hindi naman siya maka-avoid na hindi mag-surrender. Unless gusto niya maging fugitive forever. Because he has been arraigned and hindi naman pwedeng mandar yung kaso. Unlike in my case, while I fled, and I did not surrender, but I did not get out of the criminal justice system because before I disappeared, I asked my lawyer if it would be possible for me to be scarce, and at the same time, we could still file pleadings. And he said it's all right because there's an existing jurisprudence and very recent yung Supreme Court ruling na maski in the absence of a respondent, provided na hindi pa naman na-arraigned, pwede pa rin umandar yung kaso. So while I was not physically here to defend myself, I did not really get out of that justice system, criminal justice system, because I continued to fight my case, and luckily I won. But in the case of Cesar Mancao, iba yon, because he has been arraigned. In fact, he could be convicted or not acquitted. He could be convicted in absentia. Kasi umaandar yung kaso while he is out, but he has been arraigned. So, pwede siyang ma-convict. So, I think it would do him well ngayong nag-surrender siya para ma-resolve talaga yung kaso either way. I'm not hoping for him to be acquitted. I'm not also hoping for him to be convicted. Ang sabi ko nga, matagal ko na siyang pinatawad as I have already forgiven all my detractors nung araw. Marami-rami rin yun. Kung napatawad ko na yung iba, why not Cesar Mancao? But I have always maintained I cannot forget their names.
Pero sir, wala kayong information kung nag-resurface siya, not necessarily to speak up against you, pwedeng kay Senator De Lima or...
Yung kaso ko wala na kasi Supreme Court na yung nag-rule na wala akong case Well, it's up to him kung ano yung gusto niya sabihin. But, the reason why the case against me was dismissed, one of the reasons, yung paiba-iba yung kanyang testimonies. Remember, sinabi na nagpabalay-balentong na yung nagkagulo-gulo yung testimonya niya. Hindi na malaman kung ano yung totoo. Because he changed tunes. Not twice, not thrice, but I think 4 times. And the last time, when he was in hiding, he surfaced all of a sudden, invited selected media outlets, and even asked for forgiveness, hindi ba? Na sinabi niya, hindi totoo yung inaccuse ko kay Senator Lacson, which I maintain, talagang hindi totoo. Nagipit lang siya noong panahon ni former GMA, President GMA, to speak against me and testify against me. Makikita naman ng korte yun So, yun lang. He made my life miserable for 14 months, but I learned so many things. So, kung sa halip na mag-sulk ako in a corner, I would just, think or treat yung aking miserableng buhay noon as a lesson learned. Na may mga positive naman nangyari sa buhay ko. Nalaman ko sino ba yung tunay kong kaibigan. Nalaman ko yung mga plastic. Ganun lang yun.
Sir, so you think hindi naman siya up against you itong pag-resurface?
Well, I really don't care. Kung ano man yung nasa isip niya sa pag-surface, I really don't care.
Pero it will not affect you anymore because tapos na nga po yung kaso niyo. Whatever.
At saka wala na siyang credibility sasabihin na naman niya na mayroong kinalaman. This will be the 5th time. All the time. While he was in hiding, he sent his mother here, I think the sister, the wife. Lagi ko na lang sinasabi, napatawad ko na siya, hindi naman kami kailangan magkausap o magkaharap.
Kasi sa Amnesty International, nilame naman nila some of the families of the victims they spoke out about.
Well, then they should speak out in the proper forum. Hindi naman pwedeng ang accusation is through media or through Amnesty International even. They should speak out in a court of law. Mag-undergo ng, if there are specifics, if there are details, then they should go and see a prosecutor. No? They should be accompanied by their counsels. And in a sworn statement, siyempre kailangan properly sworn to, di ba, yung kanilang mga sasabihin. Otherwise, storytelling yon. Pero kapag ginawa na lang sworn statement, then there's something. And they should present additional evidence because marami naman nangyayari na sworn statements, hindi rin naman totoo. So, kung talagang meron silang case na gustong i-build up against the police or even against the administration, they should go through the process of, filing cases against certain people. Okay?
Salamat sir, wala pa rin
Thank you.
hearing next week on Auckland Talk.
Tingnan natin kung pwede magtawag next week. Kasi by that time, siguro may linaw na yung statements ni na Umlang, ni na Santiago. Mabuti na rin para masubaybayan natin kung ano ba talaga progress ng case. But then, February 3, di ba merong hearing sa re-investigation. So, binigyan lang naman natin ng parang breathing space para kung ano yung gusto nilang gawin sa case. Hindi parang under pressure. But probably next week, we can schedule a hearing and find out from DOJ, from the PNP, kung ano na yung nangyari do sa kaso. So we can also have closure. And the committee can now prepare a committee report na pwede i-deliberate discuss sa floor.
Could be the last hearing na po, sir, if ever.
No, not necessarily. Depende. Kung meron pang kailangan information, then we will conduct some hearings. If not, then at may closure na, then let's see. Total, today, nag-file na rin ako ng bill strengthening the IAS. We're also drafting a bill para bigyan ng mas malakas na disciplinary authority yung PNP plus yung training. Ito naman yung components na napag-usapan dun kung bakit mayroong parang failure of discipline sa police. No? Okay, thank you.
Sir.
Ayan. Dahil very dangerous. Legal basis? Well, he is the commander-in-chief. And pwede naman siyang tawagin niya yung PNP o yung Armed Forces of the Philippines to take action. But sabi ko, dapat i-reconsider yung order na yun dahil delikado yun.
So, you'll advise them, sir, kung may nag-advise to use the military?
I would just say na dapat i-reconsider, i-rethink yung position na gamitin yung armed forces because after all, unless talagang merong malaking breakdown ng discipline na say 90% of our police force talagang scalawags na, then sino yung tatawagin mo? Yung 10%. No, definitely, the 10% will be hard put na ma-defeat yung 90%. But as I said, I wouldn't believe na 40% ng PNP members ay scalawags. No? You know, my heart goes out sa ating kapulisan kasi talagang sa mga panahon tumbugbog. And nagtatry naman sila to reform themselves. Initiated by the leadership no less. They're trying hard to really reform themselves. And ang attitude ko lang is, let's wait and see. Baka naman merong positive outcome. Hintayin na lang natin yung positive development. As I said, and I have said it repeatedly, alam ni General De La Rosa ang gagawin niya because he's been there. Alam niya yung ginawa namin noon sa pag-reform ng police. He was very much part of it. And I know, kaya niyang gawin ito. And I'd like to wait kung ano yung magiging resulta ng kanyang internal cleansing.
So, yung revival ng Philippine Constabulary, hindi inuubra dapat may...
Ano yan, mahabang usaping legal. In the first place, maliwanag yung ating constitution, di ba? One police force na national in scope and civilian in character. Maliwanag yon. Kung magpo-form ka ng Philippine Constabulary, magbabanggaan sa jurisdiction because siyempre ang Philippine Constabulary ng araw, national ang scope. Ang police ng araw, local. Kaya nga PCINP, yung PC, sila yung may national jurisdiction sa nationwide, ang police, territorial. Pero ngayon, since the 1987 Constitution specifically provides na ang PNP, one police force that is national in scope and civilian in character, baka magkaroon ng banggaan sa jurisdiction. Unless, kung ang nasa isip ng Pangulo, parang yung concept ng National Guard na pero pagka may calamity o kaya merong malaking gulo, mga demonstration na hindi kayang equal ng Philippine National Police, tatawagin yung National Guards. Kung hindi ganun ang concept, magkakaroon talaga ng problema. While it may not be violative of the Constitution, dahil hindi pero magkakagulo-gulo sa at least sa aspect ng jurisdiction.
So bakit kaya ganun ang thinking? Gustong
I cannot read his mind as we all most of the time fail to read his mind, di ba?
Although sir, di ba pwedeng itapang military ngayon dahil under the state of emergency tayo?
Yung call-out provision?
Yes, sir.
Well, merong specific cases na pwedeng gamitin yung call-out provision. And yun yung may violence. So, but everything is relative. Kung interpretation niya, meron ng total breakdown sa Philippine, which I don't believe na meron. So, I would reiterate na sana ma-reconsider yung kanyang instruction. At gamitin na lang yung police to police their own ranks.
Sir, on other issues,
Yes.
ano pong dapat gawin dahil nag-announce na ng termination ng ceasefire NPA?
Well, unilateral. Mas magandang mag-extend pa ng konti yung government, magkaroon pa ng patience, and maintain the unilateral ceasefire ng gobyerno. And let's take it up or pick it up from there, kung ano magiging resulta. Of course, kawawa yung mga sundalo at mga pulis natin kung unilateral yung ceasefire on the part of government kasi baka sitting duck sila rito dahil isa lang yung nagko-comply sa ceasefire. But yung peace process, ito naman yung isang gusto rin nating masunod at kung tatapatan din ng armed forces or ng gobyerno natin yung withdrawal sa ceasefire, mag-withdraw rin naman yung government forces sa ceasefire, bakbakan na naman yan. So, kasi ang negotiation, it takes a lot of, psychological elements involved. Hindi natin alam kung ano talaga yung nasa isip ng CPP, NPA, NDF nung nag-declare sila ng withdrawal ng unilateral ceasefire.